Let's now turn our attention to the script for loading external sound files. Before you can control a sound in ActionScript, you need to have the sound information loaded into the Flash player. There are 4 ways you can get audio data into Flash so that you can then work with it using ActionScript. You can load an external sound file into the SWF file at runtime. You can embed the sound information into the SWF file directly when it's being created. You do this by adding the sound file to the Flash timeline. You can input audio using a microphone attached to a user's computer, or you can access sound data that's streamed from a server. When loading sound data, it can be fully loaded before it's played back, or it can be streamed, meaning that it's played back while it's still loading. ActionScript 3.0 and the Flash player support sound files that are stored in the MP3 format. You can also stream files in the preferred ACC format. This is a better, more recent format than MP3. It gives you about 12:1 compression versus 10:1 for MP3. So generally these sound files are smaller and they sound better. But you can stream these ACC formatted files using the NetStream class. As we saw in our completed Jukebox example project, each instance of the sound class exists to load and trigger the playback of a specific sound resource. An application can't reuse a sound object to load more than one sound. If you want to load a new sound resource, then you'll need to create a new sound object. So that's why we created 4 sound objects in that Jukebox. Let's have a look now at script for loading an external audio file into an SWF file. If you're loading a small sound file, such as a button click sound to be attached to a button, your application can create a new sound and have it automatically load the sound file with this code here. Go ahead and create a new Flash document and save it to your computer. In the timeline, select the first keyframe, open up the Actions panel, and then copy this code into the script pane. We're setting up a variable. There's our familiar URL request equals a new URL request, and then we're linking to this sound resource. This is a sound resource that I've placed in the Work Files folder. In the Audio folder, song2.mp3. That name is a string. It's green and it's in quotations there. Then the semicolon at the end of the line. Then we're going to go ahead and create our sound object, variable mySound, sound equals new sound, REQ, close parentheses, and then semicolon. There's our REQ variable that I created up there. Something to take specific notice of here is the path to your URL request parameter. That's the path and name of the sound file being loaded. You'll need to have some access to a few MP3 files to use in this section of the tutorial. Be sure to put these MP3 files in the same folder as your Flash document. In this case, you'll want to put it in an audio folder. Now, I've provided for you in the Work Files folder, as I mentioned, some files, but if you want to use your own audio files, be sure to alter the code to use the name of your file instead of my names here, song2.mp3, song3.mp3, and so on. Now from the main menu, choose Control, Test Movie to create the SWF file. Now notice you'll not hear any music because we have not instructed the player to actually play the sound file, only load it. But at this point you shouldn't get any errors. Everything should be fine. You just won't hear any music yet. Let's go back to this script and investigate it a little bit more. Here in this script, the sound constructor accepts a URL request object as its first parameter. When a value for the URL request parameter is supplied, the new sound object starts loading the specified sound resource automatically. Let's now add the code for actually playing back your loaded sound file. Playing back a loaded sound can be as simple as just calling the sound play method for your sound object. In this case, remember my sound object is called mySound. So we'll just type in mySound.play, open close parenth, semicolon. Now when I test this movie, we should hear song2.mp3 start to play immediately. Let's go ahead and test the movie. And there is the music playing back. Now once you get your audio playing back in the Flash player, you then have a variety of operations you can perform on that audio playback. So let's now move on and review some scripts for performing some of the operations in this list.